All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, thank you all for joining today. We've got our first session of TestRocker Parent Q&A. So, what we want to do with this session is to talk to you all about some common questions, help you navigate this process that you're either just beginning or you're getting into in a more earnest way, depending on how old your son or daughter is. So what we wanted to do was just take some of the common questions that we get and share those with you and share some answers that we provide on a regular basis, so you have an idea and you're given proper instruction on how to go forward with the process. So to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Michael Henry. I've been with TestRocker for over 5 years now, and I've worked with parents, students, educators of all kinds over the course of that time. And I've seen and heard a lot of different things, so I want to try to impart some of that wisdom to you, so that we can hopefully make this process a little bit easier for you. So what we also want you to do is we're going to be doing these TestRocker live Q&A sessions regularly. So make sure that you're clicking on the little dots in the top right corner to share with anyone you think might be interested. It's something that we're trying to provide as much information to make this easier for you, and that's what these sessions are for. So if you have any questions as we're going along, we're going to start with some more common questions that I've gotten in the past. So I'll start with those. But if you have questions along the way, please feel free to send those through in the chat box, and I'll be sure to get those addressed. So I guess we'll just get started with the first question. So most common question I get is, when should my child start preparing? So this is a little bit different kind of question, because depending on when you become aware of this piece of the process, it can seem like maybe you're behind or ahead or too early, really, really late. What I want you all to kind of set your mind at ease is, no matter where you are, no matter how old your son or daughter is, there's always some way to address this. So first and foremost, something to be aware of, and really an important piece, is what's covered on the test are things that your kids are seeing in school at different times. So a lot of it depends on what math classes your kids are taking. What's covered on both the SAT and the ACT exam is algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and then a little bit of trig, and higher level math, which is more like the end of algebra 2. So whenever your students or your kids are taking those classes, it's not a bad thing to start incorporating some kind of prep for these tests, because while it's fresh in your mind, you want to make sure that you're maintaining that understanding. What I see way too often is students will take those classes freshman or sophomore year of high school, and then by the time these tests roll around and they start taking them junior year, it's something that they're having to go back and relearn all of these different subjects. So you want to try your best to keep it steady, keep it consistent. And that kind of leads into, how you can take or how you can plan for this test. So along those lines, I get a question a lot of times about, when is the best time for my child to take the test? So those kinds of discussions are really dependent on your individual situation. But what you can do is these test scores don't expire. So you can take these tests even in 9th grade if your son or daughter feels confident with it and they've been exposed to everything that's covered on the test. They can take them 9th grade. Those scores will apply when your applications roll around senior year. Now, that being said, the vast majority of students aren't taking it in ninth grade unless they're just trying to get familiar with it, and you want to do like a test run, really just to get the feel for what going and sitting for one of those tests looks like.